So, John McEnroe, tennis great, very vocal guy, personality on a million. He was on NPR talking about his latest book. And the NPR, let me get the reporter's name here because I'm all about sources. While asking about McEnroe's latest memoir, Garcia Navarro, that's the reporter, noted, "You say she, Serena Williams, is the best female player in the world in the book." He says, best female player ever, no question. Then she says, some wouldn't qualify it. Some would say she's the best player in the world. Why qualify it? Now, the qualifier is obviously being female. He says, you mean the best player in the world, period? Yeah, the best tennis player in the world. Why say female player, she says. His response, well, because if she played the men's circuit, she'd be like 700 in the world. So you hear that, right? So, of course, and then Serena responds, says, Dear John, in a tweet, I adore and respect you, but please keep me out of your statements. They are not factually based. I've never played anyone ranked there, nor do I have time. Respect me and my privacy as I'm trying to have a baby. Good day, sir. So that's the situation. That's the context. That's the background here. And of course, the echo chamber that is social media and the feminists all come out. John McEnroe's a sexist. John McEnroe is a pig. He's a bigot. John McEnroe's living in 1955. Get with it, John. Well, I hate to break it to you, all of these people throwing fire on John McEnroe, but what John McEnroe said is not wrong at all, whatsoever. 700, we won't get into the actual number. The number is not the problem. If the number's 500 or 300 or 200, it doesn't matter. The issue is that all these people feel really offended because John McEnroe said that women cannot compete at the same level in tennis as men. Any number that he would have said less than 10 or more than 10, if he would have said she'd be like the 30th best men's player in the world, people would still be outraged. People wanted him to say she would be just as good playing against men, which is false. I cannot stress this enough. It is untrue. It is not true. It is not a fact. No woman athlete will be better than the best men's athletes. I know that's really hard to hear. I know that's really hard to comprehend, but it's just the truth. If you take the best man and the best woman at any sport, the man is going to be inherently better. Now, I know that's hard to hear. I understand that. I get it. But it's all about biology, physiology, every ology that you can find. It's just a fact. Now, before you turn your pitchforks to me, you angry mob, hold on. Let me flash back to 1998. In 1998, Serena Williams and Venus Williams said that they could beat any man in the world, any professional tennis player in the world, ranked in the outside of the top 200. So outside of the top 200 players in the world that are men, they could beat anyone. Doesn't matter. So they were giving themselves 200. All right, John McEnroe said 700. The Williams sisters in 1998 admitted it would be at least out of the top 200. So they admitted that they can't compete in that top 200. Now you're saying that 1998 was a long time ago. Well, yes and no, because the next year Serena captured the double, won 2 majors. They were cruising in the doubles scene. Serena was becoming who she was only 16 at the time, but she won the U.S. Open the next year. So she wasn't too far away from her dominance. And at the time, I think she was ranked in the top 20 or so of women. Now, I'm going to read you what happened, because a young man named Karsten Brosch, an Australian tennis player, he said, I'll take you both on, it's fine. So I'll play Serena, and then I'll play Venus. Now, this fella was not great, okay? He was ranked 203, so just outside the top 200, just outside of it. Now, Brosh was described by one journalist as a man whose training regimen centered around a pack of cigarettes and more than a couple bottles of beer. So the matches took place in Melbourne Park. Brosh had already played a round of golf and had 2 beers. So first he takes on Serena, and after leading 5-0, beats her 6-1. Venus then walks on the court, and Brosh, again victorious, wins 6-2. Brosh says afterwards, 500 and above, no chance. He added that he had played like someone ranked 600 in order to keep the game fun, even though he completely dominated both of them. Brosh said the big difference was that men can chase down shots much easier, and that men put spin on the ball that the women can't handle. Then the Williams sisters adjusted their claim to beating men outside of the top 350. So they've already played men, and it wasn't even close to the 203rd player in the world. Now, just a few years ago, Serena was on the David Letterman show. David Letterman asks her, what would happen if you played Andy Murray? Andy Murray, great tennis player. He might be the number one in the world right now. He's been number one before. He's from England. He's done it all. Great player. And she said that wouldn't even be close. She said it would be 6-0 in 10 minutes. And she's not going to ever do that because she doesn't want Andy to embarrass her. And it's not even a competition. It's not close. In fact, Serena said this in that interview. For me, men's tennis and women's tennis are completely almost 2 separate sports. If I were to play Andy Murray, I would lose 6-0, 6-0 in 5 to 6 minutes, maybe 10 minutes. No, it's true. It's a completely different sport. The men are a lot faster and they serve harder. They hit harder. It's just a different game. I love to play women's tennis. I only want to play girls because I don't want to be embarrassed. That's Serena Williams. That's Serena Williams, the same person, saying, John, that's not facts. How dare you sexist animal? Same woman has already played a man and got demolished outside of the top 200, outside of her claim, and then has already admitted the exact same thing John McEnroe was saying. And again, the 700 is not part of the issue because any number he said would have been a problem. I promise you. So just because she played a 203rd ranked guy and not the 703rd ranked guy, doesn't matter. It's irrelevant. Number is not the problem here. The problem is the idea that John McEnroe said something offensive. And the only reason that people think that he said something offensive was because he wasn't preaching this big, giant thing of equality. Because John McEnroe knows, and everyone else knows, that there is an equality in sports. How many times when we've talked about transgender athletes and men transitioning into women's sports, especially wrestling, especially boxing, we've covered that extensively here because I believe it's very dangerous, and I believe that it's something that has to be nipped in the bud. If we have men, down on the luck guys, transitioning from men's MMA to women's MMA, a woman will be injured severely, will be hurt severely. It is just a matter of time. And I'm trying to get out in front of it. So that's why we've talked about this before. And we can talk about it right here. Because I'm sick and tired of every time someone says something that's factually proven, that's 100% correct, that the masses in the echo chamber comes out and says, you can't say that because it's offensive. Because we don't like how it tastes. We, as the echo chamber, don't like that answer because it's not this equality, it's not this PC garbage that we've been fed for however many years it's been going on. Well, I'm here to tell you that some things you hear, most of the things you hear, aren't going to be this bland, gray-colored taste of this PC trash. Yeah, John McEnroe probably could have said, no, Serena would fare just as well in the men's game. She'd be just as good. She'd probably be a top 5 player. Yeah, he could have said that. But he didn't say that. You want to know why he didn't say that? Because John McEnroe is not worried about being PC. John McEnroe is worried about being right. And right he is. Let's take it to a different sport. All right? Let's take it to track. Obviously, we can't do a physical sport, like I said, boxing or MMA, because you can't compare them. There's no numbers. It would just be guessing. But track, weightlifting, swimming, we can compare those. So let's compare the 100-meter, in the Olympics, the 100-meter sprint. This past Olympics, the gold medalist for women was Elaine Thompson from Jamaica. She got the gold, and she ran it in 10.71 seconds. Silver was Tori Bowie from the good old US of A, who ran it in 10.83 seconds. Now, let's see when Elaine Thompson would have won the gold in the men's 100-meter dash. So 10.71 seconds. All right, just for poops and gigs, Usain Bolt won the gold this past Olympics in 2016 with a 9.81 run. So we're looking for anything slower than 10.71. Unfortunately, you have to go all the way back to 1920. 1920, when Charles Paddock for the United States ran a 10.8, which is slower than 10.71. 1920 is when the current gold medalist in the female 100-meter dash would have won the gold against men. Think about what people were like in 1920. That's what I'm telling you. It's just the way people's bodies are built. You cannot compare them. Cannot compare them at all. It's impossible. It's a foolish argument to make, and I'm glad that John McEnroe put a stamp on it and finished it. Serena Williams would not be, and obviously, in the top 200 of men's, and she wouldn't be anywhere near the top 10 of men where she is, where people want to hear her say what they wanted to hear John McEnroe say. So good for John McEnroe. 100%. I'm very happy that we still have some people with a little bit of dignity, with a little bit of pride, to not fall to this PC lifestyle that's trying to get pushed on us. And just like the United Airlines thing, I'll probably catch feedback for this. I'll probably catch some flack for this. No problem. But all the evidence, everything is there. Everything is there. This one is one that the masses and the echo chamber, unfortunately, just cannot win.
Look in my eyes, what do you see? The cult of personality.